Welcome to Her Real Estate Journey, the podcast where we celebrate and empower women in real estate. I'm your host, Lisa Dillon. Each week, we'll delve into their journeys from the struggles they've faced to the glories they've achieved. Our guests are rock star women agents who are sharing their experiences, insights, and advice to help you succeed in your own real estate career. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, this podcast is for you. Together, we'll explore the highs and lows of the real estate industry, learn from each other's experiences, and build a supportive community of women who are making their mark. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's get started. Hey, today we are here on Her Podcast Journey, and I was so excited to be speaking with Michele Tremblay today. She is coming to us from Florida, and she's in her car today because she's just got done with an inspection. And she's making it work like all of us. She's a super busy agent. She's actually a luxury agent. And I'm looking forward to learning more about that and learning about her journey in real estate. So welcome, Michele. Good to have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so pleased to be here.
Yeah. So tell us what part of Florida do you serve?
I am in the Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida area. So I serve all of sort of Northeast Florida, in between St. Augustine and Jacksonville Beach, even as far north as Amelia Island. So it's a beautiful place to live. I think people love it because you still get a little bit of seasonality. It's not always so hot and humid. I get to break out my boots and my sweater every once in a while in the wintertime. And I like that. I don't like it to be hot and sweltering all the time. So, but you can play golf year round, which people like.
Nice.
And yeah, it's a beautiful area on the Atlantic.
Beautiful. Do you have a lot of people that relocate to your area to retire?
Yes, a lot of people. Well, there's a tremendous migration to Florida. There has been for quite some time, but even this area that I'm living in right now has expanded probably tenfold. There's a lot of communities there. There are a lot of, where I am in the St. Johns County area in particular, it's the top schools in Florida. Generally, we're either top or just underneath, like we're neck and neck with one other county, but primarily we're kind of the top rated in the state. So we're a great place for families to relocate as well. What we find is sometimes families move down here and then their parents follow, or the parents come down here and then their family starts to trickle down and follow. So it's kind of interesting. The horse and the cart, we're never sure which one comes first, but we do have people relocating here all the time. And I have sold houses to people sight unseen that they just know this is where they want to be. And we find them someplace and then they move, and always a little nerve-wracking, making sure they like what we picked. But yeah, no, it's an awesome place. I've been here almost 8 years and I really like it.
Okay. How long have you been an agent?
I have been an agent for just over 3 years.
Okay.
So I'm fairly new, but I am very fortunate that I ramped up pretty quickly. When I became an agent, before I actually became an agent, I spoke to people who were in the industry that I knew, sort of did a shadow and just had some frank conversation to make sure that this was going to be right for me. I've always enjoyed real estate. I used to go to open houses just for fun. Really love the idea of getting in someplace new and just making it, everything it can be. So it was kind of a good fit from the get-go. But after these conversations of particularly women who started in real estate. One of my friends, very successful realtor, and, she's now about to get married, but she was a single mom like me. And so and everyone was like, well, it's great. I love it, but you will have sleepless nights, and your first year, you probably won't make any money. And so I was like, oh, well, shoot, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sure I'm going to be fine. And then, of course, 8 months later, I hadn't had my first deal yet. And I was like, oh, shoot, what am I going to do? So when you start out, it is a slow grow, and you just do all the right things and do everything that you're supposed to be doing to sort of build, your business and your sphere. And I really haven't looked back from that. So my first year, I didn't sell a whole lot. My second year, I was almost 5 million. And then my third year
Yay.
was just under 10 million. So yeah. So,
Oh, she's a rock star. I love
well, I
it.
wouldn't say a rock star, but I do love what I do. I absolutely love it. And I love giving surprise and delight service. I like to be white glove in everything I do. And I like for people to leave the transaction feeling like, wow, did that just happen? Like that was so easy. That's my
Wow.
goal for people.
Well, tell me a little bit more about how you do that. Like, tell other agents, other ladies, as we're geared at ladies, and a lot of new agents will be watching this, and also a lot of
Yeah.
luxury agents. And what specifically, what kind of things do you do to set you apart?
So, one of the things I do, and this is the benefit of being in an area where it is a higher price point. I think my average property is, and this is, that's because I've sold higher and that's because I've sold lower, but it's around $1 million. So what I like to do is really focus my energy and be all in on the properties. I'm not an agent that's going to sell 100 properties in a year. I'm the one who's probably going to sell somewhere between 10 and 30.
Okay.
And that's okay for me because that allows me to give that type of service. So for instance, if I have a listing, I show every listing. I don't just let them come in and have the agent turn on the lights and try to get everything ready. And that might be my singing and acting background. Like I want everything show ready. So when someone walks in, I have a glass of champagne poured. I open the door
Love
and I give
that.
champagne to the prospective buyers and their agent, if their agent is wanting to partake. And I say, come on in. And if you have a glass of champagne in your hand and you're touring a house,
Hmm.
already you're feeling like this isn't a bad place.
Right. That's great.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I attempt to do now. I'm not a magician. I can't be in two places at once. So I do have some realtors that I work with that I think have that same sort of vibe. And I will count, I'll give them a call if I can't be there and have them do the same thing. So I give a bottle of champagne as soon as we're under contract on something, just for a preliminary celebration. It's a long road from there.
Nice.
You have a lot of hoops to jump through and everything. But, that's our first celebration is, we have a little champagne either together or I give it to them. If I have a listing, I do the kinds of things I do. I have little splits of champagne with a little tag that has my picture and thank you for coming. And everyone who comes in can have a little split of champagne to take with them. And when they're enjoying it, they see my little face, my little name, and the cookies, I have a baker who makes cookies that have the house number on them and something that might look like, a welcome mat and my logo. They've recreated my logo on a cookie. It's really, that's amazing to me. And yeah, just little things like that where it's like just elevated a little bit. I don't really know how else to say it. I want someone to leave going, wow, that was nice. And then I like to show them things that they might miss if they came on their own in the house. They might have
Gotcha.
missed that upstairs attic space that's rare, that you don't have to go in the garage through a ladder up to you know what I mean? I like to point those things out. And if someone is adamant and want to look through on their own, that's totally fine with me too. I'm happy to do that.
I absolutely love what you did.
So, yes, I just try to make it memorable and then all of that to say, if you do that and the listing doesn't show well,
Hmm.
that's obviously what can you do, right? So you have to make sure that it's staged properly. You have to make sure. So you have to do those things. You have to do the pre-listing, what's the come to Jesus chat, where you say, all right, if we want to get top dollar, this is going to have to go. And I know you love it, but this is going to have to go. And then this can stay. And then
Hmm.
we're going to add a little touch here and there that's going to make everybody love your home and not just you.
Right. Love that. That's some great tips. I think I'm going to take some of these away for myself. I definitely do not do
Awesome.
luxury here. I cover Southwest Mississippi, and my average price point is probably about 200,000. So
Yeah, so
definitely
you
not.
you have to do a lot of juggling in the air, a lot of listings. Yeah.
I have to do a lot. So I kind of like yours a lot better than mine, honestly. Wow. So, okay, you're in this 3 years. You are already obviously an expert. I'm so super excited. What? Now, I understand that you were a professional singer and actor prior to real estate. How did you
So I
get into
did,
real
I
estate?
did. So when a lifetime ago, I mean, when I was much younger, I was off gallivanting and singing and acting across the country, and I sang on cruise ships
Oh
across
my
the world,
gosh.
and just had a lot of fun. And then I got into commercial work and voiceover. So I did voiceover for a long time. And then I got married and had my girls, and I did voiceover for a TV station in Chicago for almost 15 years, where I was the voice of WTTW. I would be like, coming up next on WTTW 11,
I
and I
love
could do
it.
that from wherever I was. I had a little sound studio in my house. So I did that for a long time. And I think what I got divorced, and I was looking for what my next was, because I knew I had to reinvent myself and I had to do it really quickly. So I went and tried to get some corporate work, and they would be like, "Oh, we love you. We don't know what to do with you because you don't have anything we need, but you're really cool, but we can't offer you a job." So that was very frustrating, because I was like, well, I'm going to need to do something and do it pretty quickly, because now I'm single mom status, right? So when I started thinking about what I could do next, as I said, I actually had my dentist say, "Hey, would you like to run our office?" And I was never thought about that. All right, well, let me. So I went and I shadowed someone who ran a dentist office, and I was like, I cannot do that. I would lose sleep wondering if I put the billing code correctly on that, and we don't get paid if I don't. And no, that's not for me. I'm the person who is needing to be out there, active. I'm very relational. Like, I'm nothing if I'm not building a relationship with somebody. And all of my clients end up being friends, and even some of them just feel like family to me. And it's really sad at the end of something, you're like, oh, I'm not going to get to talk to you every day anymore.
It's like
So,
a breakup. Some of
yeah,
them you're glad to break up, and other ones you're not.
some are trickier relationships than others, but
Yes. Yeah.
I will say I think I have a little bit of a servant heart. And
Hmm.
so that coupled with sort of the showmanship that is part of my fabric, I think those two that come together have worked really well for me.
Gotcha. Good. You say you're running this as a single mom. How old were your kids when you started?
They
Your daughters.
were like 10, a little under
Okay.
10, like 10 and 12. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
twins.
Trust
And
me.
now and
Both a lot of hormones at my house. Yep.
now they're what, 12 and 15. You're right in the thick of it.
Yeah. One is about to turn 13, and then the
Okay.
other is 15. So now we're going to be officially teenage years. So,
Gotcha.
but
Well,
I love it, and it's great. And listen, they know that unfortunately mom works a lot. It's just the
mhm.
nature of the business. And when the phone rings, generally speaking, there are some people who are very good at not answering the phone. I need to answer the phone. I have to answer the phone. So it's unfortunate sometimes that there are few and far between times where I just can completely unplug. But that just is what it is. And it's a season. I'm in a season right now. And
That's
this
right.
season, I'm working my butt off. So,
Well, one thing that I found to be really important is I'm the same way. You have to answer your phone because it's that, well, if I don't answer my phone, I'm going to have 15 calls to call back. But the one
yeah.
thing that I do, and I don't know if you do the same, is when it's family dinner time, the phone's off. I try
Mm.
not to, when it's family dinner time, and if I'm at a restaurant with my husband or, with one of my kids, I just leave the phone in the car because if not, I am so ADHD that I cannot focus on what I need to focus
Yeah.
on.
I
So
think that's great. I probably need to do more of that. So I'll take my inspiration from you.
I said on my original podcast, I said that was my one regret that I did not disconnect when I needed to disconnect and just make your girls feel important. It's important. That's my one regret, if anything. I've been super
I
successful as
know.
well.
I
And
know.
but it just sometimes we gotta be present. And people, I mean, you know as well as I do that when you have listings, especially, they're going to contact you in the middle of the night. Like, who calls somebody at 3 o'clock in the morning, but they don't think that they're actually calling you and you're a mom at home in your bed?
Because real estate is emotional. It's very emotional. It's emotional selling your house. It's emotional buying a house. Transitions are hard, no matter how you slice them. So I really try to take the brunt of the worry away during the transaction and just try to help them focus on the why. Why are they moving? Why are they selling? Is it because they are done? Their kids are gone, they're empty nesters, and now they get to focus on themselves and they want a smaller house that's low maintenance and now they can go travel? That's a huge why. Sometimes you have to say in the middle of the deal, remember why we're doing this. Remember why you get to do this and this now, and same with if you're upsizing. You're having another baby. Oops. And so now we need another bedroom and we're going to remember how this is going to feel when you have a spot for everyone. So walking somebody down from the ledge and just making sure that they're feeling comfortable and confident through the process. And it can be very emotional. And I have someone right now, a buyer, and we're under contract, and I keep having to remind her that her family is here, her nephews are here, and this is going to be a joy once you're here. But getting here is stressful, So yeah, it's just one of those things. Sometimes we wear so many hats, right? Sometimes we have to be a little bit therapist and a little bit coach and a little bit, but it has to come from a place of caring. It has to be because you want good things for them. Right. And not because you're chasing a commission or a paycheck. It has to be because you really want the best for this family.
Absolutely. It's all about serving. I can't imagine if I didn't enjoy this. I can't imagine doing all we do. I think it's definitely for some people and it's not for other people. And you need to recognize that. And I'm thankful I found this, and it sounds like you're thankful as well, because you have the flexibility with your kids. I mean, holy cow, you're there. You can be there for all the things. And that's my kids.
We're blessed in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. No, it's okay. It's just being there. Just being there is so important. There's so many people that work those crazy. I'm unemployable at this point. I'd rather die than somebody tell me I have to be at a job from 8 to 5. I mean, I don't mind doing paperwork at midnight, working whenever, but I'm in charge. Yeah. You're in charge. It's great.
We're the CEO of our family and of our business. So that means everything falls on us, though. So you just have to it is a lot. But like you said, I think at least for us, the benefits outweigh the detriments, which is awesome. But that's not the case probably for 90% of the people who try this business and then leave it within 1 to 3 years, right? And it might even be more than that at the 5-year point. So yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, but if you can establish yourself and I think the referral business is that's where you do everything you can to make it a fabulous experience for someone so that they can feel comfortable then referring you to their friend, their family, whatever. And they'll say, oh, she'll take such good care of you. Right.
And you're getting to that point now where you're starting to take advantage of that, where the new agent, they don't have that yet. They don't understand that. And it's such a blessing when it starts to turn into that. But it takes work to get to that point. For sure.
It does. So let's talk for a minute about what someone can do if they are a newer agent. What kinds of things can they do to ramp up quickly? Sure. And you will find people who will say, create a YouTube channel, an Instagram following, do all of those things. Those things are, I have a YouTube channel and I never record the videos because they're so time consuming, but I still get calls from a video I did 2 years ago. Occasionally someone will call and say, hey, I saw your video on, why not to move to Ponte Vedra Beach. And I was like, oh, wow, I should really go back and do some more videos.
Right.
So these things are effective, but they have to make sense in your life. So here's what I did. I have some people in my office who they do cold calling. They call expireds. They call. I do not do that. I do not do that. I am an open house person. If I don't have a listing for whatever reason, I am calling my friends and fellow realtors and say, hey, do you need a break? I'll come and sit at your open house. That is a way. Now we've got, obviously some things going on with some new rules and buyer representation agreements that we have to do and all that. Open house so far, I don't think we're needing to do that. So it's a great place to meet prospective buyers. It's also a great time for you to knock on the doors of the people around you, give them your card and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know I'm having an open house. If you can think of anyone that might want to be your neighbor, send them. If you want to come and have a mimosa and chat with me, feel free. Whatever the case, you can work for potentially future listings in that neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I started the business during post-COVID, right when listings were few and far between, and there were so many buyers, and buyers were having to make bids on 5 to 10 different houses before they got their contract. I handled all the buyers at that point. And the sellers, they were like, no contingencies. No, we don't need an inspection. No, they just wanted to get the house.
Right.
And that was when I handled the buyers. And that was hard. But I handled the buyers because no one else necessarily wanted to. Right. So everybody was like, oh, I'll list the house. I've got a line around the block of people trying to, So if you do the things that others don't want to do, sometimes that will pay off for you.
Oh, that is a huge boom. Love that. Everybody write that down. Do the things that others don't want to do. And yes, that's great. That is awesome. Yeah, so we're kind of getting to the end of this. I know we've got a lot going on with NAR, with all these crazy changes. How do you see the real estate industry like changing in the next 5 to 10 years from now? Where do you see you fitting into that picture?
I'm hoping to keep growing. So I feel like this is how I live my life and my business. I do the next right thing. I just do the next right thing that you should do. And there are a lot of people who try to, I think, take shortcut and try to be a little bit more transactional. And I think that probably catches up with them. I think if you focus on the relationships, if you focus on the work, doing the things the others don't want to do, if you focus on making certain that when you do have a client, you are creating, for me, I feel like I try to create a little bit of magic for those people. And sometimes that's hard, sometimes that's easy. But if you're always focusing on the next right thing, I think that the business comes from you. I have somebody that I'm going to be helping to find a house and then sell their house. And it's going to be the nicest listing I've ever had. It's absolutely, I can't wait to share it. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I know them and they came to me because I was really kind to them and knew them for a number of years, not in the capacity of real estate, but I love them. They're such good people. And so I was always over and above kind to them. And when they were thinking about real estate, they thought of me. And it wasn't necessarily because I had done transactions for them. It was because I was kind and built a relationship with them. So I do happen to know someone who just got their real estate license. And he was telling me, this woman, this friend of my mom's, wants me to give her addresses of homes that she would like to buy, but she doesn't want to use me to buy them. And he's like, well, I'm not going to do that. And I said, no, you absolutely do that. You help her as much as you can. And if it's going to benefit you at this stage or not, you still do the right thing. You help her. She's your mom's friend. Then she starts telling the story to her friends. Oh, well, that lovely man, he helped me. You know what I mean? So you're doing the thing that's building that relationship where she is going to be now a big fan of yours because you helped her to accomplish her goal. So I think sometimes you can't think about what the paycheck is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about, and I had a really good friend of mine once say, Michele, it's not always about the money. Sometimes you're going to do the thing that's going to give you less money
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to hold the deal together, or because you want them to get the house. You're going to say, I will do this for you, I will do that for you. I don't look at it as some people would be like, oh, I mean, I'm not going to do. No, it's, what is it in the grand scheme of things? It's
Right.
like $1,000 for resodding an area on the grass. What,
It's not
it's
about
gonna
you. It's
it's gonna
about
come back
them.
to you.
Right. Exactly.
100%. That's
Yeah.
exactly it.
I
It's
love
not
it.
about me, and it shouldn't be.
Right. Well, I got probably one more question. Tell me, what was your one transaction, whether it was a listing or a sale, that
Okay.
you really just got the warm fuzzies? Everybody's got that one that you really just, you changed somebody's life. It doesn't matter if it didn't make you anything. There's that one transaction that's probably standing out in your mind right now that, yeah,
Well,
tell.
I do have one. I had this absolutely delightful couple, and to date, they are probably, my favorite. I'm not supposed to have favorite. You're not supposed to have favorite children, but I just adore them so much. They came to an open house I was doing for another agent.
Okay.
And no, actually, that was my listing. That was my listing. And they came to the open house and they said, oh, we really like this. We want to downsize. What do you think? Do you think they would take an offer where we would then go and sell our house? And I was like, no, I don't think so. I think this house is probably going to sell this weekend. And it did. It
Mm-hmm.
sold like in 3 days. It was beautiful. But I kept in touch with them because they were
Mm-hmm.
delightful. And my mom's been gone for 10 years. And by the way, I feel like my mom would be so proud of me. She didn't know this version of me. And I feel like she would be so proud of me. But she reminded me of my mom. And so I just kept in touch, and I just kept sending them things that were kind of similar to the listing that I had just sold, and just kept in touch. And then they called and they said, I think we'd like for you to sell our house, but we don't want to list it. we don't
Like,
want
how are we going to
we don't
sell
want to
it?
we don't want to put it on the market.
Okay.
Because we just don't want the neighbors and anyone in the community just really in our business. We want to sell it because we want to get that smaller house, and we know we're going to have to sell first. But, it can't be on the market. So I was like, oh, challenge accepted. I did. I went to everybody I knew that might have a client for that country club neighborhood. And I think 5 showings in, we found the person
Wow.
that house was perfect for. And, champagne opening the door,
Yes.
champagne opening the
Cookies.
door, come and see this beautiful house. This view is going to look so
Wow.
much nicer when you're sipping your champagne. And yeah, I mean, the way it ended up happening was amazing because that woman had to sell her house, but she didn't need to sell it to pay for this one. So we sold this one, and she was able to let them live there for another 3 months or
Wow.
so while we looked for another house for them.
That's
So
perfect.
they're near and dear to me, but it was
Yes.
like some people you're going to get that are going to give you an impossible task. And guess what? If you do it, you're the rock star. You're the person that made it happen. And hopefully they're going to tell all their friends, if you need someone, you got to go,
Call
look
her.
what she did.
We didn't even
Look
market
what she
the
did.
house and she sold it. You're
Yeah. Yeah.
amazing. You are
So,
so amazing for being in this for 3 years. I'm just proud of you. Thank
you're
you for
so sweet. Thank
sharing your
you.
journey. I mean, a single mom. I mean,
Oh,
I'm not a single mom, but we were in a position where we had to make it happen. We lost everything when I found real
oh no.
estate. And you know what? I found my passion. I love it. And when you love it,
Isn't it amazing?
it's not work. I love it.
Yeah. I agree. And I can tell that you are the type of person that takes really good care of your people too. And
100%.
yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on us sometimes
Mhm.
if you need to make the money and you have to put yourself, and this is hard. And this is what I
Yes, it is.
do every day when I'm swimming my laps and I'm doing my positive affirmations. I try to say thank you for the abundance that is coming to me and through me.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Thank you, and just opening yourself up to the good things that can happen if you put good out there. So listen,
Absolutely.
there are successful realtors who don't do it that way. There are successful realtors who, there's no one right way to do real estate, but for you and I think it's serve others and
That's
do it with a
right.
smile, and it comes back to you.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. And we're going to put your ways to contact you, Michele, in our show notes. So whoever is in that market in Florida or anywhere in Florida, to definitely reach
Yeah,
out to you. I would love to do some work with you in the future. And I just
wouldn't that
thank you.
be fabulous?
I know your market is amazing. So
It is. Well,
absolutely amazing.
eventually you head down this way and come and see me.
I would love to. I would love to. Thank you so much for being on her real estate journey. And everybody's journey is different, and yours is beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, well, cheers.
Yay.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks for listening to Her Real Estate Journey. I hope you're inspired to conquer your own real estate path. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow us on social media for updates and more stories. Until next time, keep shining and make your mark. I'm Lisa Dillon, and this is Her Real Estate Journey.